here in Houston at the 2017 Automation Fair event. The best companies in industrial automation are showing off their innovative products. I'm Teresa Hauk, Executive Editor of the Journal from Rockwell Automation and our partner Network Magazine. One of those top companies is Festo, and I'm here with Frank. Frank, tell us what your company is exhibiting here at the show.
Hi Teresa, good afternoon. So we're exhibiting our latest innovations that we have in the area of pneumatics, all of our Compass reference products as well, valve terminals, also our didactic equipment and process automation products.
So I see you have a lot of traffic attendees are excited to be in your booth. What are you highlighting?
Okay, so the first product I'd like to point out, we call this our VTEM, it's a digital pneumatic valve terminal. I think the best way to explain this product is by starting off by looking at the valve itself. This is a valve that does not have a solenoid, which is typical of most valves. It's operated by piezo valves, which control poppet valves, which are also sensed by an inductive sensor in each position. So the valve itself knows what position each poppet is in, and each pair of poppets controls the pressure out of a working port, a single working port. Each working port of the valve also has an integrated pressure sensor as well. So there's a real strong closed loop feedback system inside the valve. The benefit of this is that it gives us really strong control, proportional control of the pneumatics, and we can do a lot with this kind of control. To further emphasize that, I like to point out the app. So as mentioned before, this is a product that really leads into the trend of Industry 4.0 or IOT. And one of the things that we're doing is controlling the function of each of these valves through a software app that gets loaded inside a module here. So to demonstrate this again, I'd like just to look at one app called Directional Control Valve Function. So in this case here, a user may have an end effector that has vacuum generators that requires a function of two valves. So that's digitally transferred to the valve terminal, and you have now created a vacuum function. In this case, that tool can be exchanged with a gripper tool, which might need a different valve function. So instead of having to change the valve of the hardware, you can use the same hardware, just digitally command a different signal to it, and now it creates a different function. So this is just one example of what we can do with the VTEM, but there are plenty of other examples as well. We have many apps that can be used for different functions. They range from proportional pressure to proportional flow. Also for end users, especially an echo drive, which which allows them to operate a cylinder with much less compressed air than is normally needed. So eventually, you will save a lot of compressed energy costs over the long term. And other things, for example, like leakage diagnostics, which again would help you with your overall effectiveness of your equipment.
Okay, great. Let's step across the booth here and have you give us a demonstration.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Now we're back with Frank again, and we're at the IoT Demonstrator. So Frank, show us what we're looking at here.
Thank you, Teresa. So here we have the VTEM is included in this demonstrator with a few other Festo reference products. And what we're looking at here on the monitor is the web browser for web server from the VTEM, which shows the actual status of what's happening in the VTEM right now. Currently, there's a leakage app that's operating right now. We can just see that it detected a leakage increase here, which is an unacceptable leakage. As the VTEM is working, you can see that the apps are actually changing here for different functions, from timed motion to echo mode. So these are all controlled by a Rockwell PLC. And like I said, the VTEM is actually controlling then this simple pick-and-place system. But the important thing about this demonstrator is that it's also showing our connectivity with Rockwell's IoT platform. There's two products in particular to talk about. First is the Factory Talk Analytics for Devices, also known as Shelby. In this case, here, this is a dashboard of Shelby right now that's looking at our energy savings module, which is a shutoff valve that's designed to detect lull in compressed air, a demand, a low demand from a machine in compressed air, and then actually it's designed to shut off, which ultimately saves energy by preventing any kind of leaks from occurring. But it also has sensors on board where you can monitor consumption, flow, and pressure, and this information is put onto a dashboard here that is trending this information that be useful for a customer. So this is a prototype that we're working on right now. And of course, we need to expand this a little bit more, but it looks, it's very promising. We got a lot of positive response from customers here with this.
That's excellent. And we appreciate the demonstration.
Thank you. There's also another application that we're working on the topic of IoT, and that is this Team One. If I could move over to Team One. Team One is a mobile app designed for collaboration collaboration between users and devices. If I can connect onto the Apple TV here in a second, you should see the application here. So in Team One, this is also a prototype module that's in the app of Team One for Festo. If I select this device, this module here, you can see now it makes a connection to the devices that are on this little demonstrator. And maybe for example, we see right away we have a fault on an MPA here. So this is a valve terminal of ours, and if I click here, I can see immediately that channel number 2 has a condition counter exceeded. This is a signal for a maintenance worker to go ahead and perform a preventative maintenance act on this actuator. He can do this, and then from his mobile device, he can clear the error. And you see now the error goes away. So without the OEM having to do any design work, HMI work, or programming on his controller, this can be done through a mobile device very rapidly by preventive maintenance. As also connectivity is also possible with the VTEM. Since it's a digital device, we can look at all of the information that's coming, and we can see that's working on a leakage app. It's just created another leakage event right now. It's just reporting the leakage, and we can see now what other information that might be useful for diagnosing any kind of a problem with this. And then finally, with the E2M, we can also look at the pressure, the pneumatic signature response of the machine in very quick intervals. So for example, if I create a large flow here, you'll see this immediately pop up on the iPhone. So now this is obviously an anomaly that someone maybe needs to correct on the pneumatic side, but it's very obvious with this tool where it may not be in a plant.
Well, thank you for that good demonstration. And there's so much more you can learn about Festo, so go to the URL you see on the screen and find out how Festo can help you. I'm Teresa Hauk at the 2017 Automation Fair event. I'll see you next year.